Hey guys, Mike here. So today we're going to answer your questions and comments and everything. And as usual, feel free to participate down in the bottom answering, or feel free to ask more questions as we go through this. I really enjoy this video and stuff. And today we're going to talk about your questions about the VIX, because obviously it's been subdued like crazy. Got some interesting stuff on that one, let me tell you, because a lot of stuff came out yesterday. Also, somebody accused me of pushing this, how they put a lunatic market on people. I'm going to show you something that's going to stun you. It stunned me. I don't get stunned very often, but this stunned me. Okay, so you'll definitely want to see this, because it was very surprising. And then the other thing, we're going to talk about how you find the stocks at 52-week highs, where's the big money going into them at, and how to kind of weed them out and things like that. And then, of course, these crypto ETFs. That's a kind of a big topic, so we'll talk about all that. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. So Scott says, Mike, what are your thoughts on the VIX? It's been stuck in this low volatility range forever. Thoughts on when and what might shoot that back up? Well, it's kind of funny you should ask that, Scott, because yesterday there was a whole bunch of VIX call options coming in. As you can see right here, that's the VIX. I'm highlighting what it is, the put or call. You can see most of them are calls, most of them are buys. And then there's your premium over there. And so these are some big orders. What really got it going was, though, there's one of these, a $16.7 million order for the February 14th, 2024, 17 strike. So they paid a boatload of premium for this thing. And of course, why are they doing this? And if you just look at the chart real quick before I even talk about it, here's 2023 going back to 2019, right? And it's usually around OPEX in January here where, you know, sometimes you get a pop. That don't look like much right there, but that's a 20% pop, right? And so then you go to 2022, well, that's a huge one because we started to crash or whatever. You know, 2021, there's another big one right there. 2020, again, I don't think I have to spell that out to you. I mean, look at that thing. That's going up. Now, 2019, why was there not a real big move? You had a slight pop right there, but why was there not a big move? Does anybody know the answer? And I want you to pause this and give me the answer in the comments why you didn't see a big move in the VIX in 2019. And if you haven't paused, I can say this. It's because we were coming out of the crash of 2018. We bottomed on December 24th in that crash and started just revving up. And the VIX started just, because the VIX already spiked in December, and it was just absolutely soaring down. And so, you know, can we see that? Yeah, this is a big OPEX coming up next week, right? I've had that guy who handles the VIX or the volatility index for you. I always mess up his name, so I'm just going to say Jim, even though it's spelled C-E-M, I believe, but they pronounce it Jim in every interview I've ever seen. And so, you know, he was calling for this, right? And maybe you have a blow off top and all that stuff, but it's like, well, how are you going to have a blow off top when, you know, the stock market isn't really moving right now? It's been selling off, right, in the last last week, I guess we should say. And so we'll see if that happens or whatever. But usually what happens in these OPEXs is it just kind of, especially VIX expiration, all these contracts expire. It almost just like frees things up to move again, right? And so, and you got to unravel shorts and all kinds of stuff and then reload the shorts. And so, you know, can I see it going next week? Sure, I can see it happening. I mean, I know people that are definitely talking about hedging more, and some people hedge by using VIX call options and things of that nature, or triple leverage ETF or something like that. So I can see it for sure. But that was some big orders coming in yesterday, guys. Now, next one here comes from Daniel. It says, Mike, big money or instigating push in the lunatic market, and street is just taking on donkey ride. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But are you wrong again? Not sure when I was ever right or wrong. But I will tell you this, Daniel. Hopefully you're watching this and stuff. I don't push the market on anybody. Okay, I'll show you what it is. Here's where it's at, the indicators, things of that nature. That's what I do. Now I'll show you something though. You think it's just here, right? And in America, we tend to insulate ourselves. We don't look outside. I'm as guilty as anybody else. Why would I look at any other stock market when I look at this one, the most popular, you know, widely traded one and invested one in the world? Well, check this out. This is from The Compound. It's a podcast I listen to. Great podcast. Give them a like and a follow if you want to. But check this right here. This will blow your mind.
Global Dow, all-time highs. Next. Global 100 Index, all-time highs. Next. Euro Stock 600. So this is the equivalent of the S&P 1500. So includes the smalls, mids, and large. New 52-week highs. Next, Euro Stoxx 50. This is the Dow, essentially, of Europe. New multi-decade highs. Germany, all-time highs. France, all-time highs. Denmark, new all-time highs there for the Copenhagen 20. Keep going. There's the Oslo Index pushing up against new all-time highs. We can just keep going, right? That's the whole point. Sweden, look at the Stockholm 30, new 52-week highs. Milano Indice de Borsa, 15-year highs. Look at London 100, pushing up against new. Poland, the WIG 20, new all-time highs. The Dutch Master right here, pushing up against new 52-week highs. Hungary, new all-time highs in Budapest. India, new all-time highs for the Nifty 50. Look at the Nifty 500 next if you want to broaden it out, all-time highs. Bank Nifty, these are the financials in India, new all-time highs. Indian small caps, new all-time highs. Remember when they said small cap stocks weren't working? New all-time highs for Indian small caps. Japan, 33-year highs. Australia, new all-time highs. Taiwan, new 52-week highs, pushing against new all-time highs. Look at the Jakarta index, new all-time highs in Indonesia. Brazilian Bovespa, new all-time highs coming out of a multi-year base. We can keep going. Look at the Bolsa de Valores. This is in Peru, new all-time highs. Chile, pushing up against new all-time highs, the second highest close in the history of the country. Argentina, this is the ETF, so you're not getting the currency situation. New all-time highs. Mexico, new all-time highs. I mean, Canada, new 52-week highs.
And guys, before we continue, if you could hit that like button for me, I sure would appreciate it. It helps people find this video and everything. And also, if you like the content, think about subscribing, guys. And so as you can see, it's not just here. It's everywhere, okay? And so it's not just an American thing. It's not just a me thing or anything else, okay? Stock markets like to go up, and they're going up around the world, okay? So I said, this is a time to remember, guys. It's not just us. And so I just want to put that out to you. And put me in the comments, did that blow your mind? I never would have guessed all those stock markets were setting at all-time highs or new 52-week highs and close to all-time highs and all that stuff, especially some of those countries. I was stunned. But yes, so it's not just here, all right? Now, next one here says, Mike, UNG is getting ready to have a 1-4-4 reverse split on 1/23/2024. It is my experience this is not a good thing. Could you give me your understanding when this happens? Funny thing about this is, I think my first video I ever did on this channel was based on this. Reverse stock splits suck, okay? And I'm going to explain why. But for ETFs like you're talking about, not so much, because it's different. It's not an individual stock, right? And as you can see, the TMF, which is the leverage ETF for the TLT, you can see it went up after its reverse split. Because I was kind of worried. I thought, man, you're going from $5 to $50 and people get sticker shy and all this other stuff. Well, it went up, right? So that didn't really matter too much. But when you look at individual stocks, here's one everybody knows. Citigroup, back in 2011, did a 1-for-10 stock split. Bam. Stock ends up crashing 50% after that. And with most individual stocks, this happens because they're garbage, right? And a lot of the SPAC stocks, remember this? SPAC stocks, they sit there and went down to 30 cents, started doing these reverse stock splits, and boom, ended up crashing back down. So the reason why they keep going down is because nobody wants them. That's why they had to do the reverse stock split, to stay on the exchanges, right? Another thing you see happening, I noticed when I was doing the research for you on this, these really garbage stocks, sometimes they'll do a reverse stock split, end up like just getting short squeezed or just skyrockets for like a week, and then they just crash and burn, right? No, I don't get into those. I don't know why that is, but I was looking at a couple of them up, and that's what I saw. As soon as they did the reverse stock split, for some reason, just rocketed up and then crashed and burned, right? Like a pump and dump or something. I don't know why they would do that for a reverse stock split. But again, I'm trying to think of the name of that company. What the heck? WeWorks. Maybe that was one of them. I think that was one of them I looked at, and I was like, wow, they did a reverse split, and it just skyrocketed and then just completely dumped, right? And there was another one too. So for most stocks, it is not good. They only do the reverse split to stay on the exchange. When it comes to the ETFs, it seems like, I assume it's negative. And when you're talking, by the way, when you're talking about UNG, man, that thing has got the coolest name ever, the Widowmaker, for a reason. So I don't pretend at all to know anything about natural gas, and I don't play with it. I played with it once. I got burned. I'm good. I don't need to put my hand on that eye anymore. And something called the Widowmaker, it just kind of, it's not really my risk tolerance, so I had to stay away. So maybe that one does sell down after it. But I've seen ETFs that just do different. It just depends on what the commodity's doing, really. And so I hope that helps. Now, next one comes from the Capitalist Mike. The Fed follows the 2-year yield for Fed funds rate decisions, in case you didn't already know. Not too many people are aware of this. And you're actually right. I discovered this about probably 7 months ago. So thank you for putting that in there. And I want to show it to people that when you pull up, here's the Fed funds rate and here's the 2-year. You can't really tell the difference, right? The only way you can tell the difference is, you can see the orange color there. That's the 2-year. The 2-year, there's a lag. It doesn't exactly follow it. But in a way it follows it, I guess you could say, but it's just a lag. Like you'll see the 2-year, it will come down before the Fed funds rate comes down. It also goes up before they start raising rates. So it's kind of, and I think this is what the market, to me, at least from what I've read, this is what they start interpreting, right? When they start thinking about, oh, and that's why they're trying to put these projection cuts out there, by the way, one every meeting, if you saw yesterday's video, because when you look over to the right, what are you seeing? Well, it's coming down, right? It's been coming down. Actually, it started to come down a couple other times, but then it popped back up because they thought they were done raising. That's what fooled me. I put a projection out probably a year ago. I was doing a members video just for the fun of it. And when I saw it coming down, I said, oh, cool. And I started to try to figure out what the lag was. Like maybe it's 3 months, 6 months. What's the average? And when there will be a recession, all this crazy mess, because when they start cutting, that's usually when there's a recession. And so I was totally wrong. So, because I was basing on a 2-year. And so who knows, because the lag can be months, right? And so it's been coming down again, right? Once again, and we're not expecting it to pop up. And so that's what they're kind of say, hey, they're going to start cutting this year, which makes sense. I believe, yes, they're going to cut this year, but to cut in March, wow, that's really early. And, but this is what they're basing it on. So hopefully you learn something on that one, and you can look at this and use it for the future reference. Now, looking at this right here, what did you use to find those 52-week stocks? And he's talking about the 52-week highs. Here's one thing you can use. I use TradeView. A lot of people have TradeView. It's very popular. I think you can do this on the free edition. I'm not sure because it's been a while since I had a free edition. But you just bring this up, go into Stock Screener. You can see right here all kinds of stuff. But you scroll down right here. Again, there's a lot of them. Right there, new 52-week highs, new 52-week lows. And so you can pull that up and you can start filtering stuff, right? Because there's going to be a bunch of them. In this case, there's 464 just today hitting new 52-week highs. Again, just go over to the filter and start looking at these different things and stuff. And when you start scrolling across them, you can see it's going to give you your price. It's going to give you whether it's a strong buy. And this is based on like the moving averages rating, which I'm going to go into a chart and show you some other things to be looking at and everything, and keeping it very simple. This is for everyday folks who have a job, who don't have time to sit in front of a screen all day long. There's CrowdStrike, by the way, which we talked about in Thursday's video, I believe, setting another 52-week high today. So again, it just keeps setting it over and over and over as it continues to go higher and stuff. And again, you can go in here, and I say this is what I would do this. Do it by market cap and also do it by volume, right? You want high volume because if it's low volume, that's not big money pushing that up, right? And so you want to go in there and start clicking on these things, play around with it, okay? This is big stuff right here, okay? And so, again, you can do average volume, whatever you want to do. But the other things you want to look for, even before these things start setting new 52-week highs, by the way. And when you look at this chart, this is CrowdStrike. One thing you want to do, go on the weekly and start looking at the volume as it's settling down, right? And then when do you see a big push up in volume? Usually on a bottoming process, things of that nature, and see how that volume entails. This is a lot of volume. Don't look like that with that indicator and everything. And then just look up at your moving averages. Right? You can go to a daily, you can go to a weekly, whatever you want to go with. But when it crosses that 200, as you can see, it rejected multiple times off the 200. That's a bullish thing. And then just start scrolling back on the chart and say, well, what was it doing on the other times when it moved up, right? Odds are, I bet you when it crossed that 200, that's when it started to move up quite drastically, and then just starts bouncing off the 50 and 100, figuring out what moving averages each stock really respects and stuff, and then add your MACD in there. And the one thing you're looking at, man, especially on the weekly, when this thing, or actually I'd say start on the daily and then go to the weekly, but when the MACD crosses that zero line right there on the MACD, that's when things get really fun, okay? That's when you start to see these big moves in these kind of stocks. When it's below the zero line, that's not good. Okay, this is all about momentum, right? Feel free to use the RSI as well. And so another way to look at 52-week highs, if you don't have anything like that, just type in new 52-week highs. You can go to bar charts, Yahoo, all of it's free, okay? And then look at the volume, things like that, and go through the same process. Hope that helps. Now, last one here, thoughts on the Bitcoin ETF approval and side aspects like BITF or coin. Just curious of your take. And when you look at this, first of all, it was a sell the news event like we thought it would be, right? We talked about it for weeks. You can see the miners just getting nuked. They're down 20, 30%, some of them, right? What did Bitcoin do? Sold off, right? And no surprise there. So, of course, Bitcoin sells off, so the miners, so is everything else. And when you look at it, it's kind of funny to me, all these ETFs, I looked at them today, and they're down, what is it, like 15% or something, 20%? Since they opened up and stuff. So, and some of these are very reputable names, but it's just what we figured it was because there was so much hype. Bitcoin had been pushed up so much. It's like no different than earnings. What do we talk about when stocks that are just getting pushed up and they're going in earnings, super hot? What usually happens, even if they hit earnings, they sell off because everything's been priced in. So unless they come up with something just unbelievable on the earnings call, it sells off. That's what happens. And so this is no surprise because guess what? The halving ain't gonna happen until April. First week of May, somewhere in there is the halving, and then that's when you usually see these big runs. This just happened to be pushed up because of what? This ETF. And the truth is, you know, I talked about this in the members videos today. I'm not a, I mean, I own Bitcoin, I have cold storage, all that stuff, you know, a wallet and all that. But, you know, when I look at it, it's funny to me how people cheer this on, because I'm like, isn't it supposed to be decentralized and you don't want the SEC regulating this stuff? I mean, and now they're regulating it. Supposedly they're even trying to find out who actually the gentleman who started Bitcoin and stuff. They're trying to find out his name by putting like depositing money in his account that was over the regulated amount where you have to report it and all kinds of crazy stuff I'm hearing. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But when the SEC gets involved, I'm like, is the 4-year cycle going to be the same? Like, how can it be? I mean, if you're running these ETFs, right? I mean, you don't want the ETF price dropping 60, 70%, do you? I mean, people are just going to flood out your ETF, and that's not what they want. It's a business, right? And so, I mean, I don't see how the 4-year cycle continues once the SEC gets involved the way it has been. But again, you would think with the halving and then all the ETFs who are supposed to own Bitcoin and all the buying they're going to have to do, it would drive the price up for sure. But I'm not sure about the price coming back down like it has in the other cycles. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I know some of you guys who are really into this world, so I will defer to you for sure and everything. But, you know, that's and another thing to me. You know, when I see red like this right here, because we expect it to be a sell the news event. I mean, it's just a time for you to DCA into miners or DCA into the crypto if you believe in it, right? And once you get to your price levels, right, whatever your plan is, this gives you that shot, right? So, you know, that's just my thoughts on it. Again, I'm no crypto expert, so I don't really talk about that much. I know the basics. I'll just say that right there and stuff. And so that's where I'm at on it. Let me know what you think. Again, please hit that like and subscribe button. Submit your questions in the bottom if you happen to have any. I love this kind of Saturday video. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys, so really appreciate it and everything. And I will see you either tomorrow or Monday, depending, because remember the market is closed on Monday for Martin Luther King holiday. And so hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you later.